The Second World War became a catastrophic chapter not only in Ukraine's history, but for the entire world. Without a nation-state, Ukrainians were divided between different countries. They participated in numerous military units, fighting under various flags and on different fronts. They served in the Red Army and the Wehrmacht, Polish and Czechoslovak forces, and the armies of the anti-Hitler coalition. Over 7 million Ukrainians fought in the Red Army on the side of the USSR. They also participated in Soviet partisan groups, comprising 59% of the Soviet partisans in Ukraine, compared to just over 22% of Russians. Let's discuss how Ukrainians fought in various military formations. For Ukraine, the war began on September 1st, 1939. About 120,000 Ukrainians, predominantly Polish citizens from Galicia and Volhynia, fought against the Wehrmacht in the Polish army. Some veterans of the 1917 to 1920 Ukrainian liberation movement served in the Polish army. For instance, Yuri Salski, son of the UPR Minister of Military Affairs, served as a second lieutenant in the Polish Air Force. He participated in aerial battles against the Luftwaffe over Poland, France, and Great Britain. 8,000 Ukrainians, then Polish citizens, died fighting against the Nazis. Ukrainians were also among the 20,000 Polish prisoners of war executed by the NKVD in Katyn, Bykivnia, and Kharkiv in 1940. Although Soviet authorities typically released Ukrainian and Belarusian prisoners of war, Simon Fedorenko, a Ukrainian Orthodox chaplain in the Polish army, refused to leave his service and perished alongside his Polish comrades in Katyn. Thousands of ethnic Ukrainians, former Polish citizens, deported to Siberia after 1939, joined the Second Polish Corps under General Władysław Anders. Volodymyr Yanev, a junior officer in this corps, saved the lives of 5 officers during the Battle of Monte Cassino and was awarded the Virtuti Militari Order. In 1943, the first separate Czechoslovak Brigade was formed in the USSR under the command of Colonel Ludvík Svoboda. Of its 15,000 soldiers, 11,000 were Transcarpathian Ukrainians. The Ukrainian Insurgent Army, UPA, operated in western Ukraine from 1942 through the 50s, with approximately 100,000 people passing through its ranks. Vasil Ivakiv became the UPA's organizer and first commander. After his release from German prison in 1942, he began forming units in Volhynia to fight primarily against the Germans, later expanding operations against the Polish Home Army, the People's Army, and Soviet partisans. The insurgents protected the population from transfer to Germany, attacked German occupation administration, and even established self-governance in some controlled territories. The Kolki district, for instance, became known as the Kolki Republic. Polish formations sought to restore Poland within its pre-war borders, while Soviet partisans fought to reinstate Soviet power and suppress national movements. The UPA strived for an independent Ukraine and protected the population. These conflicting goals led to bloody battles in 1943 to 1944. Polish-Ukrainian confrontations became particularly brutal, resulting in civilian casualties on both sides. After the Nazis were driven out, the Soviet authorities became the UPA's primary enemy. Some Ukrainians sided with Germany and its allies, often as a survival strategy under German occupation. Some associated Germany with the prospect of Ukrainian independence. 2 Ukrainian battalions, Nachtigall and Röland, were created within the Wehrmacht under the OUN initiative and German military intelligence patronage. However, after the proclamation of the Act of Restoration of the Ukrainian state in Lviv on June 30th, 1941, the Germans arrested the OUN leaders. They reorganized the battalions from combat to police units. The German command formed the 14th Waffen-SS Galicia Division, playing on national sentiments. The division belonged to the General SS and was primarily used as a combat unit. About 32,000 people served in it, with most either perishing or becoming prisoners of war. In early 1945, General Pavlo Shandruk gathered about 38,000 people under the banner of the Ukrainian National Army. However, the most numerous were the so-called Russian national units of the Wehrmacht and SS, which also included Ukrainians. The division under General Andrei Vlasov's Committee for the Liberation of the Peoples of Russia numbered up to 130,000 people. According to General Jodl, the Wehrmacht employed 700,000 Soviet citizens in total, mostly as auxiliary volunteers, Hiwi in German, from prisoners of war. Another 196,000 served in so-called national legions, and over 100,000 worked as police. These units' fighters met tragic fates. Approximately 40% died in combat operations. Over 220,000 of these combatants were later captured by the Soviets and served sentences in gulag camps as traitors to the motherland, though not all were even Soviet citizens. Thus, Ukrainians became cannon fodder for both dictators, Hitler and Stalin. Ukrainians, primarily from diaspora communities, fought in Allied armies. Researchers often overlook this fact compared with the Ukrainian service in the Wehrmacht and SS forces. Over 80,000 Ukrainians served in the U.S. Armed Forces. About 40,000 American soldiers of Ukrainian descent participated in the Normandy landings. Michael Strunk, an American serviceman of Ukrainian origin, participated in fierce battles in the Pacific with an elite U.S. Marine Corps unit. He was among the 6 soldiers captured in the iconic Raising the Flag on Iwo Jima photograph. Strunk was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart. Nicholas Minu, a U.S. Army private, attacked German positions during battles in Tunisia, eliminating 10 machine gunners and riflemen. He was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart and became the first Ukrainian to receive the Medal of Honor. Between 35,000 and 50,000 Ukrainians served in the Canadian Army. Anne Hraplive Smith was among the first Ukrainian women to voluntarily join the Canadian Women's Army Corps. She served in Great Britain and the British occupation zone in Germany, receiving the British Empire Medal. Post-war, she joined and actively participated in the Ukrainian War Veterans Association of Canada. Canadian Air Force Captain Bogdan Panchuk participated in the Normandy landings and was awarded the Order of the British Empire. In 1940, 5,000 Ukrainians fought for France. By 1944, the French resistance had formed 3 separate Ukrainian units. The most famous of Ukrainian Maquis was Vasil Porik, Basil, a Red Army lieutenant. After escaping German captivity, he led a partisan unit in northern France. He died during a combat mission in July 1944 and was honored as a national hero of France and a hero of the Soviet Union. While Ukrainians fought under various flags during the Second World War, only the Ukrainian Insurgent Army fought under the Ukrainian national flag.